can crack open my.
But hey, y'all, welcome back to my channel. It feels so weird saying that because this is probably, I don't know when this is going to be uploaded, but I just started YouTube, so I'm like, hell, welcome back. And you probably are like, I ain't never seen you before. But if you're new here, which you probably are, because I am too, my name is Anayo. Welcome to my channel. Today's topic, as you can see by the title, we're going to talk about how travel and studying abroad actually made me feel seen. And it's pretty much what I can attribute and give credit as the single-handed experience that brought my confidence levels up. I can't think of anything else that has really shaped my life trajectory in terms of my confidence, my feelings about how I look, my attractiveness, my beauty or non-beauty, just myself. My experience studying abroad in London in 2011 is really what shaped a lot of who I am today, and is what a lot of the experiences I've had since then anchor on. That's essentially what's inspired me to now start this YouTube channel and kicked off my travel bug and my love for travel and my love for seeing Black people and Black women specifically get out there and travel. My ability to go out and do things alone and just have the courage to do unconventional things and make pivots, and everything stems from this. So I grew up in California. I'm a California girl. Shout out to Katy Perry. And growing up in California in the 90s and 2000s, if you know, you know, there was always this currency set on light-skinned, mixed, biracial Black women versus dark-skinned, African-looking Black women. And this probably goes for a lot of places in the US at the time. I can only speak for California. But being a dark-skinned African girl in the 90s and the early 2000s, child. Olympic sport, okay? That was an Olympic sport. We were fighting for our lives. We were literally you in danger, girl. We were in danger, okay? Catching strays, the bullying, the African booty scratcher, the, classroom lights go off and it's like, where did Nayo go?
Damn.
I'm telling you, it was wild. It's just so crazy. This is a completely separate note, but it's just so crazy how Afrobeats is so popular now and being Nigerian is so popular now, because I can vividly remember how 20, 30, 40, okay, not even 40, I'm not that old, but 20, 30 years ago, being African was not it. It was not it. And you dark skinned, child. So I kind of retreated into my skin. I was very shy, very quiet, didn't speak much. I was just, your eldest daughter, who was just very docile at home and did what mom and dad told me. And, my parents were immigrants, so it was basically me, myself, raising me. One thing I know that I experienced growing up was being chosen, being seen as the girl that the guys like, being seen as, someone who's pretty or fashionable, or just being seen, period, was not something I experienced. Up until then, I was, I really felt comfortable as a tomboy. So I don't think, I don't know if that term is still used today, but back in the day, being a tomboy was it was its own thing. You had the girly girls, the cheerleaders, and then you had the tomboys. And so I was very comfortable being a tomboy. Tomboys don't get looked at tomboys ain't attracting male attention. Tomboys are the homie. Tomboys like sports. They dress in baggy clothes, hair a mess. Tomboys get to just fly under the radar. And I love to fly under the radar, okay? Especially being dark-skinned and African, because if you flew under the radar, nobody was teasing you, nobody was making fun of you, nobody was saying your name wrong. It was just, that's that person over there. Cool, I'll take that over being called an African booty scratcher. Thank you. And that's kind of the role I played, like I said, throughout high school up until college. I had, also as an African, more so Nigerian, not only was I hiding behind a tomboy identity and I was shy and I was quiet, but also my parents were like, face your books, boys don't exist. Do not talk to them. Like, they don't exist. Don't even try to come here talking about you want a boyfriend, girl. Like, ain't no way. So it was all of that combined that made it kind of easy for me to just fly under the radar. But at the same time, there was a small part of me that was yearning for attention. And not like attention, like, oh, I want to be the center of attention, but just to be seen. Like, damn, like, I feel like back then I had such a unique style. I was really goofy. Like, I thought I was pretty funny. But not a lot of people knew, because not a lot of people knew me. And like, I was an introvert, but I was an introvert in a way that I kind of had to be an introvert just due to the circumstances. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm an introvert, but it's because I haven't broken out of my shell yet, if you know what I mean. Like, I felt very, very comfortable in that, but nowadays, like, you could consider me maybe more of an ambivert. Sometimes I'm an extrovert, but back then, no. Introvert, shy, quiet, reserved, doing her homework, boys who don't know that emotion. That's it. So, as I got older, this started affecting me in different ways. And one particular way was in the men department. Men didn't like me. Not that they didn't like me, like, as a person, like, oh yeah, she cool or whatever, but like, I was never the girl that guys had a crush on. I was never the girl that guys would talk about and be like, yo, Nayo, like, that wasn't me, okay? I had crushes on guys, unrequited like a mug, okay? So many unrequited crushes. And I even remember I had this one crush in high school, and it was one of those embarrassing crushes where I was essentially stalking this man. Like, I'm so embarrassed to tell this story, but I'm gonna tell it because we friends, right? We friends, y'all. Y'all ain't gonna judge me. But there was this guy who I had this huge crush on, and like, I knew after lunch where his first class after lunch was. And so after, like, I would kind of like have a peripheral view of him during lunch, because where we hung out with my friends was directly across from where he would hang out. And so I just had a peripheral view of him during lunch. And then as soon as the bell rang, I knew exactly where he was going. So when the bell rang, I would hop up, and my best friend, who like knew I had a crush on him, me and her would like basically follow this man. Follow behind him just to like get that final glimpse. But anyway, one day my friend was like, girl, like, I'm gonna tell him that you like him. Like, this is crazy. Like, you need to tell him you like him. I'm gonna, like, want me to tell him for you? And I was like, no, don't do that. Like, just leave it alone. And she goes behind my back and tells him that, hey, Anayo likes you, thinks you're cute. What do you think of her? And she comes back to me and she's like, yeah, he's flattered. He said, thank you. But, he's not really looking to date anyone right now. And then a few weeks later, we saw and found out that he was in a relationship with this other girl. And I was like, oh, okay, got it. It's not that he doesn't want to date right now. He just doesn't want to date me, doesn't want to be seen with me because I'm dark skinned. That's fine. At least that's the conclusion I came to at the time. Fast forward to college. I went to a PWI and no one in college, like I had a couple of, guys that I thought were cute, but at that point I was just so removed from the world of liking men and having crushes on men because it had never worked out for me. I'm here to read my books. I'm here to study. Okay. I'm here to get my degree. Okay. So that wasn't on my radar. And I was just so used to, like I said, slipping into the background, being the quiet, reserved girl that no one really heard from or knew what she was thinking or knew what she was about. I was so used to that. I played that role so well by this point that once I got to college, that's the exact role I just quietly slipped into my classes, quietly slipped, into the dining hall, just there. And it wasn't until junior year that pretty much all of that changed. So when junior year came around, I was studying Italian. I love Italian language and culture, and I was studying Italian because one day I convinced myself that I was going to live in Italy and live la bella vita and just eat gelato and drink wine all day, which I'll talk about in another video because I did end up doing that. And so the study abroad applications came out. I wanted to study abroad in Italy, but I ended up studying abroad in London because I didn't meet the language requirement for Italy. It was the best decision I could have made. I had never traveled anywhere by myself internationally. Girl bad, like what? Crazy. And I had, it was unheard of at the time for like my family and for like a young Nigerian girl to go do this. It was weird, it was random, but I wanted to do it really badly. So picture this. I'm 19 years old. I'm 19 years old. I'm in London for the first time alone. For the first time. And London, y'all know, London is like New York. London's a buzzy city. There's like big red buses, cars and taxis flying everywhere. Like it's popping, and it's black people everywhere. Not just black people, but like Caribbeans, Africans, just black people. This was me and my friend's first time studying abroad and being abroad. And so we were just doing a lot of things for the first time. And it was also the first time where like I started going out alone. Like if my friends didn't want to go do something and I wanted to go do something, I would go by myself. And I was invited to my first fashion show. I snuck into a few fashion shows. I was going out to the markets and to museums and restaurants. And, I'm 19 and I'm just living my best life. And the other thing that came with it was the men. Me and my friends would go out because London's nightlife scene is crazy. Like there's so much to do, so many clubs, like it's just oons, like literally until 4 a.m. every night. And all of a sudden, something started happening to me that had never happened to me before. Men were approaching me. Men were looking at me. Men were talking to me in like a, hey, I want to holla at you type of way, not like a, hey, what's up, bruh type of way, like in a, you fine, I want to talk to you type of way. My shy, quiet 19-year-old self was so shook and so confused. When you go from, I feel like no one really talks about this, but it's going from completely unseen. You are painfully aware that you are not that girl. Like, you are not the girl that guys go after, and you are not the one that guys like even think about when they think of romantic partnership. To all of a sudden, every time you step outside, some guy is trying to talk to you. And it was just jarring for me. It was jarring. Also, I didn't know how to talk to these people. I didn't know how to talk to these men. I'm like, I'm very naive. Oh my God, I was so naive. And it was just weird because I feel like because I was so naive, but I was so like eager for this attention, that I feel like I got into some situations that I shouldn't have been in. I'm gonna just leave it there, okay? I actually even had a stalker in London. But on the positive side, my brain started like rewiring and like reshaping itself. And all of a sudden I'm like, wait, y'all see me? Like, y'all like me? Y'all are talking to me? What's going on? It just became something that I was like, wow, so maybe I'm not ugly. I'm just dark skinned in California, and that's just is what it is. But outside of California, your girl is getting a little attention. Your girl's getting some looks. Okay, wow. And just imagine what that's doing to a 19-year-old brain. Like, y'all have to remember I'm 19. So basically I'm a teenager, and of course I care about boys, and I care about, I want to kiss boys, and I have crushes on boys, and I want boys to like me, of course. So this is rewiring my brain at 19, a brain that has, never seen what male attention and male validation looks like. Now in my 30s, I can say that male validation doesn't mean much, but back then it meant a lot to me. And the amount of attention I was getting was like, it's weird for me to say this now, but in hindsight, I can understand that the validation I was getting, the attention from men I was getting back then, was in some part and in some way almost healing me from being in my shell and being comfortable with hiding and being comfortable with being shy and timid and a tomboy, because it was as if I felt like I didn't deserve to be this outgoing, this girly, desirable woman. I knew what my looks came with, having a bigger nose, darker skin, and being African. Like, I knew what that came with, and I kind of just, when I was younger, accepted it just for what it was versus trying to break out of that. And also keep in mind, back then, we didn't have the imagery that we have today. It's an abundance now. Like, I know young girls still have confidence issues, but I almost feel like it's for different reasons, because nowadays there's so much representation online of, being dark skinned, being African, and being desirable that just wasn't available to me back then. Like I was saying, I wrote an essay kind of detailing this story, and it'll be linked below if you want to read the story. All of a sudden, I was this hot girl in London. And circling back to coming back to the US and how it's changed me, it's basically made me realize that I am a human being that is worthy, and I am a human being that is seen. We put a lot of weight on, just love yourself, sis, just, self-love, it all starts within, and yada, yada, yada. It does. It does. It does. It does. It does. It does, and it can start within. But for some of us who never had any cues of what it looks like to love yourself from within, who didn't even know that was a possibility, that outside validation of worthiness, attractiveness, humanness, you know, looking past my features and accepting me as just a woman, that outside validation actually did a lot to help and make me want to start that path of self-love and self-acceptance. Because without that, it would have been a long time before I even realized that I could find other ways to accept myself. This is the early 2000s. So this is before Instagram, before TikTok, before, well, YouTube had been around. But as a young African girl who didn't have those cues, all I'm seeing is dark-skinned girls suck, light-skinned girls are the best. I'm in California where no one's paying me any mind, and all of a sudden I go to London and, you know, I'm popping. It seems so silly, but it literally shifted my entire perspective on myself and what I'm capable of. Not even just the men, but like I said, I was going out, I started going on solo adventures, solo dates. I would take myself out to eat. If there was a musician I wanted to see, I remember seeing Little Sims when she was like first out, coming out as a rapper. It developed a confidence in me that I don't think would have been possible if I didn't take that trip. But I just wanted to put it out there that sometimes we need that external validation. And I know if you go online, people are going to shame you and make you feel like, you know, how dare you take cues from other people? How dare you take cues from the environment to make you feel any sort of way other than what you're feeling inside? I totally get that. Think about when you see a YouTube video from a creator that is literally speaking, they feel like they're speaking your story. It feels like they're speaking directly to you. Is that not validating? And is that not external validation? External validation can also help churn something, move something in us that can eventually lead to healing certain parts of ourselves, certain insecurities we have. Like all the trips I've taken after that have all kind of done similar things for me. They've healed me in different ways. But that first trip to London, that first one. Anyway, if this resonated with y'all, if you watched this far, thank you so much. Leave a comment below if you relate. If you don't relate, let me know. If you think this is dumb, let me know. I'm all for it. I'm all ears. I'm just here talking my shit, telling stories to y'all. If you want more stories and talks like this, feel free to subscribe below, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.